Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me on archive. D-Style Boxing here. Hit the like button. Hit the notifications button so you get notifications when D-Style Boxing is coming on live on the air like he is right now. The chat is open. And if you're watching archive, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. So it looks like Gennady Golovkin and Saul Canelo Alvarez. It looks like the pay-per-view did a very good 1.3 million with a bump. It'll probably be about 1.4, maybe 1.5 as everything gets calculated. All right. This is actually very, very good. All right. I know it's if you compare it to like Pacquiao Mayweather or Mayweather McGregor, then obviously, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, this was very, very good, right? Solid. These are solid numbers. Nowhere near the 2.5 and all of the ridiculous shit I was hearing, like from some YouTubers on here that will go unnamed. They already took enough L's. Okay, I don't want to, kick dirt in their face anymore. But yes, 1.3 million. There will be a slight bump. Just keep that in mind. 1.4, maybe 1.5 million when it's all said and done for this fight. The numbers were released kind of early, so that there'll be another 100,000, maybe 200,000 buys of a bump there. But it looks like that's where it is now. Okay, this is very, very good. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad. So this year, Canelo had 2 fights at over 1 million buys. So that's solid. That's very good. That's solid. And that puts three boxing pay-per-views at over 1 million buys this year. All right. Of course, one of them was a Mayweather-McGregor fight, but nonetheless, it's still a boxing fight. And I can't think of the last time boxing had 3 fights over 1 million buys. I just can't think of the last time. Let's see. When Mayweather fought Pacquiao, was there any other fight that did over 1 million? I don't believe so. When Mayweather fought Maidana, none of them did over 1 million. So it's just the more and more I think about it, I'm not exactly sure. Even when Mayweather fought Canelo, I don't think his Robert Guerrero fight did 1 million. So maybe it did with a bump. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, maybe since then, maybe since that year. But 3 though, 3, I can't remember. Probably 1999. Okay, I could be wrong about that, but anyway, this is very good. Where do they go from here? Will they do? Is this enough for them? Entice them to a rematch? A lot of people like the fight. If they could do anywhere close to these numbers, then hey, they should go for it. Okay. Did the Mayweather-McGregor fight hurt this fight? In my opinion, to be honest with you, no. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it did because, they spent $100 for Mayweather-McGregor, and it was just a couple weeks before this fight, right? Well, first of all, guys, in most cases, they get to put it on their bill anyway, right? And when you order it, it's until the next rolling bill anyway. In most cases, like most people don't pay for it up front. Okay, people don't like paying for shit up front. Okay, so for whatever reason, that's why the credit card business does so well. But that's why loan places do so good. All right, but anyway, I honestly think there was a lot of buzz created out of that fight, and I think it helped this fight overall. Some people may disagree, and that's fine. I think there was both. I think both things happened, and people became extreme. I know a lot of people that were very curious of Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin after that fight. Okay, and that's anecdotal, and I get that, but I'm just saying, what does this mean moving forward? Well, does it mean that Canelo, now with 2 fights this year, with over 1 million buys. That what does this mean? Well, I'm not sure if Canelo is yet that guy that can do over 1 million on his own. Like I don't know if he's that guy. Okay. In fact, you could argue Mayweather was never that guy. I don't think anyone other than Tyson really ever was. Okay. And what I mean by that, and I know what the records are and all that, but it seems to me like when Mayweather fought Berto, he did horrible. When Mayweather fought Maidana, he couldn't crack the million. Still, the 900,000 buys is still very, very good. But I don't know if Canelo, in Canelo's case, he's still, if he's the only guy they know, and it's not a perceived threat that he's fighting, I just don't see him even now doing over 400,000 buys. Now, 400,000 is still good, okay, but I don't see him doing anywhere near that, okay? And I think as boxing fans, we need to get used to the fact that we may not get another fight at over 1 million buys for a while when you look at the landscape, right? Floyd Mayweather Jr. is retired. I think there's a very, very good chance he's not coming back. Okay. There's an excellent chance Floyd Mayweather Jr. is not going to come back. There's a 99.9% chance that he's retired for good. Right. And that's my opinion. Ward will be back, but I don't think Ward will ever have a fight that does over 1 million buys. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Okay. So that's not going to happen. Canelo, the Chavez Jr. fight, okay, that fight, it had a lot. Chavez Jr., whether you like him or hate him, and I don't really like the guy that much, but he's part of the reason that fight sold that much, okay? He's part of the reason. That's why he got a lot of media attention. And in this fight, Gennady Golovkin's body of work had a lot to do, and the perceived notion that he was this feared guy that nobody wanted to fight, and that Canelo was ducking him for so long, that kind of helped the hype of this fight, right? And maybe a Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo rematch maybe does over 1 million because of the controversy. I'm not sure that it does, but let's say that's the one fight they could do, the rematch, do over 1 million. I just don't know what other fight Canelo can have. I just don't. That can do over 1 million buys right now. I don't know what fight that is. There's better fights, as far as, or let me put it this way, there's good fights for him, for boxing fans. There's a lot of legacy fights he can take, but these money grabs, these over 1 million buys, because let's not get it twisted. Just because a fight can sell a lot doesn't necessarily mean it's a legacy fight, right? It doesn't mean it looks good on your resume for years from now, right? Many times it is. It just depends. But I don't know who Canelo can fight. Maybe if they can do, like, I know there was talks about this. I doubt it'll ever happen, but of Canelo versus Pacquiao, maybe that does it. Okay, I just don't think that fight will ever happen. I think Canelo's north of 160 now, and Pacquiao will never be there. All right, maybe when Canelo was at 154, maybe. Okay, when he was willing to maybe drop to 153, 152, but it ain't gonna happen now. I just don't know. I just don't know what Canelo could do. And looking at the boxing landscape, we've gotten so used to seeing fights at over 1 million with Mayweather and Pacquiao in recent years that we think this is normal, and it's not. Okay, it just, there was a time where if you did over 1 million buys, and even though the whole structure has changed, and I've already talked about that, but even then, when you did over 1 million, that was amazing. And now, if fight doesn't do over 1 million, everybody says it's a failure, and it's even this fight. It does 1.3 million. Everybody's like, that's it. It didn't even crack 2 million. Like, did they say like all these fights have cracked 2 million in the history of boxing or something? All right, this is very, very good. Okay, this 1.3 is, I think, better than any UFC fight this year, to be honest with you. All right, I mean, just looking at it. And that's not even all the money it made. It did pretty solid gate. It made money a lot internationally. So a lot of people watch this fight in Mexico. It's high ratings, a lot of advertising money. I mean, there's a lot of money that this fight made. Right, nowhere near what the former fight made. We know what fight that is, Mayweather McGregor, but it still made a lot of money, and it was still a success. Okay, a lot of people they're already jumping the shark. Oh, Canelo, he's a new pay-per-view king. This, that, and the third. I don't know. I just don't know if Canelo can match these numbers with any other opponent. I just don't think he can do it. I'm just being flat out honest. Finally, the fact that this fight barely did a little more. I shouldn't say that. It did about 300,000 more, and it looks like it'll maybe 400,000 when it's all said and done. So it is substantial, but it wasn't that much of a difference, to the Chavez Jr. fight. It wasn't that much of a difference, right? And now you see why he fought Chavez Jr. first. It was less risk, and it was still a lot of money for him, right? This fight right here was something. I mean, it's this is mainly Canelo, right? Gennady Golovkin is not the mega star that a lot of Gennady Golovkin fans would like you to think. All right, um, he does solid gates, but we've been so used to guys fighting ballrooms that we're impressed when somebody sells out an arena now. Okay, um, he was just an atrocious pay-per-view attraction. Okay, Golovkin never did good in pay-per-view. I mean, everybody wants to talk about Ward was never a pay-per-view star. Neither was Golovkin. And some fighters, for whatever reason, just never become pay-per-view attractions, but they become good dance partners. All right, so like Bernard Hopkins was never a pay-per-view attraction on his own, but when he fought a superstar, it amplified it. It became a big event. Okay, and that was true with the De La Hoya fight. That was true in the Trinidad fight. But anyway, big fight and great success. What do you guys think? Are you impressed? Are you impressed with the 1.3 million? And like I said, it'll be a slight bump. So it looks like it'll have kind of, about 1.4, 1.5. There you go. Like it looks like that's the type of numbers we're looking at now. Um, it is good to see boxing do these type of numbers, especially, and this I will say, I mean, there was a time where nobody thought anybody could do these type of numbers outside of a Mayweather Pacquiao. There was time when nobody thought anybody could do these numbers outside of a Mike Tyson. There was times nobody thought anybody could do these numbers outside of a heavyweight. There was times nobody thought that if there weren't a heavyweight, that anybody outside of Oscar De La Hoya could do these type of numbers. So at the end of the day, this is good, right? I mean, it shows that boxing is capable of building a star and still sell on pay-per-view for whatever it's worth. Now, do we want to continue? Um, do we want to continue with the pay-per-view model? Like it's. I know there's some insiders that in the boxing world that wanted this to fail. Like they want pay-per-views to fail, so boxing just it grows on network TV. This pay-per-view model. A lot of people want to see it fail, right? This 1.3 million is not a good sign for that. So I think this means we're going to be seeing Canelo on nothing but pay-per-view moving forward. I don't think we'll ever see him on regular HBO again. Maybe once or twice, but I doubt it. For boxing fan, it was in the million range. The Chavez Canelo fight. It felt similar to Cotto Pacquiao. Well, it did those kind of numbers, really. I think Pacquiao Cotto did like 1.2, something like that. Yeah, AJ 10. I think Mayweather will stay retired. And Chavez Jr. No idea what people saw in the guy. Well, he was just the son of Chavez. I mean, that's really all it was. AJ10, he knows people that streamed Maymac fight, then ordered the Canelo GG fight. Well, there you go. Hispanic community or what? Boxing fan Put said this fight was 2 years ago. It wouldn't have done 1.3 million views. Well, let's clarify that. 1.3 million buys doesn't mean 1.3 million views. That's how many people bought the fight. How many accounts bought it? How many people watch a boxing fight by themselves? I mean, there's a percentage, but there's at least 2, 3, maybe 4, in some cases 10 people, even more in some cases. So this means tens of millions of people watch the fight, right? So there you go. Like if this fight was on NBC or like if it was on network TV, it would have done like 15 million people, like something like that. And that's why a lot of people want boxing back on network TV, so you can get a lot of viewers and stuff like that. I will say this: what is boxing doing to create fans, with these events? Because it's the undercards suck. We're just point blank about it. The undercard fights are atrocious. The arena's empty. Nobody cares about the undercards. They're not creating stars, man. They're not creating stars. They're just not. And I'll say this to the moon. I had a lot of issues with Don King, but one thing he did was give us great boxing cards. All right. I remember Tito Trinidad on the undercard of Chavez fights. I remember Chavez on the undercard of Tyson fights. Okay. I remember these stacked cards. And I always remember like they were good at showing us who the up and coming fighter is, and they would have a good boxing match, a good war. They would have a showcase fight, and and of course the main event, and they'll even have like the good old fashioned pre-main event, the co-main event. They don't do that today, All right, somebody's asking. Man, I believe he's the next boxing star, but I'm referring to the over a million buys thing. Over a million buys is not normal like people think it is, and we should start getting used to it. AJ10, how many buys would Wilder versus Joshua be in 2018 if they both stay undefeated? In the UK, I think it does very well. I mean, I couldn't tell you how much it would make in the UK. I think someone from the UK would be have a better guess than me, right? But I think it would do pretty solid in the UK for sure. But in the United States, I'm just being honest. I'm just going to be flat out honest. And this is a big if there's media coverage for it and all that, maybe 200,000, about 200,000 buys, 180, 200,000, something like that. Maybe not the number people would like me to say here, but that's what I see. Cracking that 200,000 is hard. Like it's very difficult. And once you can get past that, then that's when you start seeing 500,000. But it's hard to get from 200,000 to 400,000. It's a hard place to crack. Yeah, I mean, it's just boxing just isn't big. Boxing just isn't popular in this country. People need to understand it. All right. People follow fighters; they don't follow the sport. Yeah, and Deontay Wilder, he just isn't that guy. Like as far as that popular guy, he just isn't. I don't think he's doing anything wrong. He just isn't. He's knocking dudes out. Like I don't know what else he could do. As far as aesthetically pleasing, like I don't know what else the guy could do, but Wilder Joshua does about 200,000 in the States, which is pretty solid, especially with the money coming in from the UK on top of that. And the gate, I'm assuming if it's in the UK or I think the gate would be bigger. If they fought it here in Vegas or New York or wherever, it might do a pretty solid gate, but not as good as it would do in the UK. The place to do it is in the UK, right? If you want to maximize the revenue, for sure. Someone put Mayweather be the last fighter to be in a over 2 million pay-per-view. Well, I did it 4 times with De La Hoya, with Canelo. He did it with Pacquiao and with McGregor. And he also surpassed 4 million. So twice. Um, I don't know if anybody will ever do 200 million. Um, the UFC hasn't really come close to that. I think 1.6 million, from what I've researched, is the highest that 1.7 or 1.6 that the UFC has ever gone. And that plus we can't really trust. It's a private company, and Dana White has been known. And no, I'm not just saying this because he exaggerated the McGregor and Mayweather numbers, but he has been known to exaggerate numbers. I find it kind of strange that HBO or Showtime will release pay-per-view numbers, and they're public companies. They have to, but they will release pay-per-view numbers, and then there's a bump. Where the UFC, it always seems that the numbers that the UFC releases, they don't have a bump up. They always have a bump down. Like it almost always happens. So there's something strange about that. I think they project the number with the bump, and then when the accurate number comes in, sometimes it's lower. But just think about that. Like a monster company like the UFC has been south, 400,000 south in their biggest fights of 2 million. With McGregor, Diaz, maybe they could do 2 million. I don't know. I don't know if they will. I think it'll be close, but that's their biggest fight right now, to be honest. So I think if the UFC would have done, and this was at the like, if they would have done George St. Pierre versus Anderson Silva, when both guys were dominating their respective divisions, if they would have found a way to make that fight, um, and both guys were in their prime, and there was discussions of who's number one pound for pound. I think that fight, I don't know if it would have done 2 million, but it would have come close. It would have come close. But just think about that. Mayweather has done it 4 times. That is insane. And the fact that one of those times was back in 2007 with De La Hoya, of course. De La Hoya was the A side. It was the main reason it sold that way. But Mayweather marketed himself brilliantly after that. But that's extremely impressive. Okay. And I don't know. I don't know if anybody will ever do 2 million anytime soon. Can Canelo do it? I don't know. Look at where this Canelo Gennady Golovkin. That's the biggest fight for Canelo outside of a Mayweather rematch, and it's even with the bump, it's going to be about 600,000 short. 600,000 short. And by the way, of 2 million, but De La Hoya thought it was telling everybody this fight would do 3 million, and not even close, bro. Not even close. That was ridiculous. I thought 2 million was ridiculous. This did just about what I thought it would. I was like, yeah, it will do north of 1 million, under 1.5. That was my prediction, and it was pretty much a home run. And there you go. Okay. For all the people saying, "Oh, Golovkin should get a big purse. It's going to do over 2 million." Like, come on, bro. All right, calm the fuck down. All right, let's calculate if how much was. Does anybody know what Golovkin was paid for this fight? I don't pay attention to these things. Just when there's no negotiation going on. But what do you ultimately get paid? Does anybody know what Gennady Golovkin got paid? Somebody let me know. Anybody know in the chat? Was it the 10? How much did this dude get paid? I don't even. So I could look this shit up. $15 million, right? Okay. Now, granted, this was a guy that never sold anywhere. Did Gennady Golovkin ever sell anywhere close to 300,000? I don't think he ever did. Okay, but anyway, 15 million. Let me do this, okay? 79.99, guys. Okay, and if we multiply that by how many buys is this? 1,300,000. Okay, that's 103,987,000. Now we're gonna divide that. Oh yeah, we're gonna divide that by half. Okay. There's 51,993,500 left right off the bat. Okay. Right out of the gate. So let's say you pay the undercard fighters a combined 1 million, which I'm probably being very generous there, but okay, you're left with 50 million. Let's say you spent about 3 million, being generous there. In advertisement, we're down to 47 million. All right. We're going to leave out the cuts, the HBO cut and Golden Boys cut. So if you divide it, I mean, it's not. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of money left. If Gennady Golovkin was guaranteed 15 million, I would like to say he's probably going to make more here, because that's the guarantee, and there's a pay-per-view cut. He's probably going to make more out of that. He'll make more out of that. Not bad. I know I'm missing something here, but anyway, like I'll think about it when I'm like freaking in bed and shit. Well, there you go. I just confirmed here that the Chavez Jr. fight did do around 1 million buys. Now they're saying around 1 million. It's probably 990,000 or something, but well, I guess we'll give it to him. Yeah, he did 175,000 against Jacobs. Wow, that's wow. Well, what do you even say to that? Him and Ward, man. I don't know what it is, man. People just wouldn't buy their fights. I mean, I don't know what it is. Anyway, you guys got any questions before I roll out? So I'm gonna roll out and get the hell out of here. So before I go out, any questions? The gate did 27 million, so that's that's pretty good. A lot of money was made in this fight. What's the question? Somebody put yes, a question. All right, what's the question? Golden Boy said an immediate rematch, so no December fight for Gennady Golovkin. Good or bad? I think that's good. I mean, does that mean the fight's not till May or something? I think that's good. I mean, you're guaranteed another big purse here. Another 8-figure payday, so just take it. I mean, why risk, losing to some nobody or some shit, So I say good, I guess. I mean, good for him. As a boxing fan, I like to see fighters fight as much as possible, so I would prefer him to fight, but I understand why he won't take the risk. So there you go. I don't know why Gennady Golovkin would want to fight in December anyway. I mean, well, it is 3 months from now, but still, I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. Anyways, yeah, I agree. It'll be till May. I mean, that's fine. But at the end of the day, with that type of money, man, like I'm telling you. But the age thing, though, I don't know, man. Like it's a lot of fighters when they get older, man. They just fight once or twice a year. I mean, it's so it worked for Hopkins for a while. It worked for Floyd for a while. I mean, he'll be all right. Well, Canelo will have good opponents, so, and all that, but I just don't know they'll be pay-per-view stars. Not a lot of I don't see it. I don't see a lot of pay-per-view stars in the horizon. I just don't see it right now. No lo veo. I don't see it. Anyways, guys, I am tired, man. I'm tired and I gotta roll. So I'm gonna roll out. Peace.